Welcome to AI in 8 minutes or less, your daily AI update, where today we are unpacking a fascinating interview with Yoav Cohen about how Bittensor is challenging the centralized giants of AI. We are looking at what is honestly a monumental shift in the AI landscape right now. We're talking about a transition from these closed-door corporate monopolies to a truly open, global collective. Yoav Cohen, who is the CEO and founder of TAO-token, recently sat down to explain how his platform is becoming the core adoption layer for this whole decentralized AI revolution. And let me tell you, the implications of this are absolutely massive for all of us.
Okay, so to really grasp this, let's start with a crazy story Yoav shared. He was running a massive consulting firm, and out of nowhere, literally nowhere, his bank suddenly froze his business account. They blocked his access to his own money, and it took 2 agonizing weeks of endless bureaucracy to get it sorted out. Now, I want you to take that level of centralized, arbitrary control and upgrade it to artificial intelligence. If a few massive corporate players can just decide to pull the plug on your access to the greatest intelligence models in the world, yeah, that is a deeply terrifying prospect for the future of innovation.
And the contrast here is just striking. Yoav's main thesis is that instead of hoarding resources the way tech giants do, Bittensor is aiming to coordinate global intelligence without any gatekeepers whatsoever. I mean, if you look at companies like OpenAI or Anthropic, their entire business model relies on concentrating resources. They want to hoard the best chips, lock up the most data, and keep the top talent in one closed loop. But Bittensor operates on a completely different paradigm. It's all about coordinating those resources globally. They aren't trying to destroy the closed-source giants. Instead, they're building a vital alternative where anyone, literally anywhere in the world, can jump in and participate.
So, you might be wondering, how does this actually work? Well, the engine behind Bittensor relies on what they call programmable incentives, and this is used to turn totally scattered compute power into highly focused problem-solving. This right here is the secret sauce. You basically define a specific task you need solved, you attach a reward to it using the TAO-token, and suddenly, boom, you have top-tier talent and massive compute power from all around the globe aggressively competing to solve it for you. It's an incentive layer built right on top of open-source development, which, as Yoav puts it, is basically like pouring kerosene on a fire.
Yoav actually uses this fantastic analogy for the whole ecosystem. He explains that Bittensor acts as an incubator where anyone can invest, mine, or build decentralized AI businesses without needing anyone's special permission. Think about it. Right now, everyday people like you and me cannot just go invest early in OpenAI or Anthropic, right? Those doors are firmly closed to retail investors. But Bittensor is essentially the Y Combinator for decentralized AI startups. There are 0 gatekeepers here. If you want to mine, validate, spin up a network, or just buy some tokens to support a project you really believe in, you can just do it. It's a completely open economy.
And to truly understand the sheer power of this network, look no further than the number 72 billion. That is the massive parameter size of the model Bittensor recently and successfully trained in a completely decentralized fashion. Just pause and think about that for a second. People in the AI industry thought coordinating compute power across a decentralized network to train a model of this magnitude was literally impossible, but they actually did it. And this isn't just some neat party trick. It's a profound proof of concept, showing that decentralized networks can genuinely compete right there on the absolute frontier of artificial intelligence.
Now, the cost to achieve this, that is even more staggering. While frontier AI companies are out there spending tens of millions of dollars on massive, centralized data centers, Bittensor achieved its 72 billion parameter model for roughly $2 million. To put that into perspective, when Meta trained a very similar 72 billion parameter llama model, it required giant data centers and tens of millions in capital. Bittensor achieved parity by simply taking existing distributed resources and coordinating them efficiently. It is just an absolute game changer in terms of capital efficiency.
So all this brings up a really good question. Despite this massive potential, why isn't everyone already using it? Well, historically, getting into the Bittensor ecosystem has been incredibly frustrating. Even just a year ago, retail users had to navigate all this really complex underlying blockchain architecture. They had to deal with clunky legacy wallets, basically crossing their fingers and hoping a transaction wouldn't fail. It kind of felt like an isolated island built by brilliant AI engineers who, let's face it, didn't really prioritize the user experience. The technology was like a jumbo jet, but they forgot to give anyone the manual on how to actually fly the thing.
And this is exactly where TAO-token steps in. They are acting as an adoption layer designed specifically to normify the ecosystem and just strip away all those complex friction points for new participants. Yoav and his team realize that having the best technology in the entire world is utterly pointless if normal people can't figure out how to use it. Their whole mission is to obsessively focus on the customer, lower that barrier to entry, and create an experience so incredibly simple that you don't even need to know you are interacting with complex blockchain plumbing underneath it all. To solve this massive accessibility barrier, TAO.com made a huge strategic move by bringing TAO directly onto the Solana network to spin this economic flywheel even faster. Solana, as you probably know, has famously mastered retail access, deep liquidity, and overall simplicity. So by partnering directly with the Solana Foundation, TAO.com is merging Bittensor's incredibly complex, powerful supply of AI intelligence with Solana's massive retail demand. It's all about meeting users exactly where they already are, rather than forcing them to navigate a completely separate, complicated ecosystem.
Now, before we look at what this acceleration actually means, we should probably define what a subnet is, because this is where the real-world value is being generated. When we talk about Bittensor, we aren't just talking about one giant monolithic AI brain. We are talking about a bustling economy made up of these subnets. Every single subnet is essentially an independent AI startup focusing on one highly specific task, whether that's generating images, scraping complex data, or training new models, and they are all fiercely competing to be the absolute best at their specific niche.
And what's truly fascinating is seeing how these subnets are rapidly moving way past basic crypto speculation and are actively partnering with massive traditional institutions to solve genuine enterprise problems. Take subnet 4, called Targon, for example. They just co-authored a paper with Intel, yes, Intel, because they cracked the code on processing encrypted data in a fully decentralized way. That means a highly secure hedge fund or even a government entity can now use decentralized GPUs without ever exposing their private data. Or look at Subnet 44, ScoreVision, partnering up with PwC. These are real businesses producing real-world utility completely insulated from those typical crypto hype cycles.
As we look toward the future of this whole ecosystem, Yoav proposes a really fascinating shift in perspective regarding the true end user of blockchain technology. For years, right, we've all debated whether average human consumers will ever use crypto to buy their morning cup of coffee. But what if we've been looking at the entirely wrong audience this whole time? What if the actual killer app for blockchain isn't a human consumer at all?
Yoav proposes this radical but honestly brilliant thesis. Autonomous AI agents, not human beings, will ultimately dominate crypto rails because blockchain presents a logical, flawless financial system for them to operate within. Think about it from an AI's perspective. Human financial systems are messy. We have bank holidays, frozen accounts, wire transfer delays, and endless layers of bureaucracy. If you are an autonomous AI agent trying to execute thousands of microtransactions a second to buy compute power or scrape data, why on earth would you use a traditional human bank? You absolutely wouldn't. You would use the blockchain. So, the ultimate takeaway here is looking at their roadmap. They are moving from raw infrastructure today toward a 5-year future where Bittensor's decentralized intelligence powers your everyday apps without you ever even knowing it's there. Yoav's vision for DAO.com includes rolling out mobile apps, simple Chrome extensions, and deep ecosystem integrations. But the ultimate goal over the next few years? It's invisibility. True success means that you and I are using enterprise software or some random mobile app, and it's entirely powered by thousands of decentralized miners competing globally to give us the best intelligence. And we don't even realize it's happening under the hood.
As the AI power struggle continues to unfold, we are standing at a genuinely fascinating crossroads. History always shows us that whenever power gets too concentrated, whether we are talking about banks in 2008 or legacy broadcast media before the internet, networks naturally emerge to rebalance that power. Bittensor aims to be that exact rebalancing force for artificial intelligence, offering us an open, highly programmable, and radically decentralized alternative.
So as AI becomes arguably the most powerful tool in all of human history, who do you want holding the keys? A closed corporate boardroom or an open, decentralized global network? The choice is ours to make. If you enjoyed this, subscribe to AI in 8 minutes and never miss what matters.